Please state your name and address.
Lita Perez in Ocala, Florida, 34474. I know that's a lot of fours. Today we gather to address the subject of profound significance, ceasefire and peace. Throughout history, humanity has been marred by conflicts. Wars have been fought over territory, resources, and ideologies, leaving behind trails of destruction and despair. Yet amidst the echoes of warfare, the call for ceasefire and peace has always been a beacon of hope, illuminating paths towards reconciliation and healing. Ceasefire, the suspension of active hostilities, is not merely a pause in violence. It is a critical step towards peace, a moment of reflection allowing warring parties to consider the implications of their actions and the possibility of a dialogue. A ceasefire provides the necessary respite, enabling humanitarian aid to reach those in dire need, mending the fabric of communities torn apart by conflict. Peace, however, extends far beyond the cessation of violence. It is the foundation upon which societies can rebuild, where individuals can forge connections unmarred by the specter of conflict. Peace is not just an absence of war, but the presence of justice, equality, and respect for human rights. It entails a collective commitment to understanding, tolerance, and the unwavering pursuit of harmonious coexistence. As an advocate for ceasefire and peace, let us remember the lessons from our past. History has shown us that sustainable peace is not achieved through silencing of guns alone, but through addressing the root causes of conflict. It requires the engagement of all sectors, society, governments, communities, and individuals working towards, together, comprehensive solutions that foster social cohesion and mutual respect. In our pursuit of peace, let us also recognize the strength of our shared humanity, the dreams of parents for their children, the aspirations of youth for a brighter future, the universal desire for happiness. These are bonds that transcend borders and conflicts. By focusing on what unites us rather than what divides us, we can build a world where ceasefire and peace are not just temporary respites, but enduring realities. In conclusion, let this moment be a call to action. Let us work diligently towards ceasefire that pave the way for lasting peace, armed with the knowledge that every step towards understanding and reconciliation is a step away from conflict and despair. Together we have the power to transform the landscape of conflict into a horizon of peace and prosperity for generations to come. Thank you for your time, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mansfield. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next is Barbara Feitos.
Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Feitos, Ocala. I come before you today as a longtime resident and engaged citizen of the City of Ocala, and on behalf of All in Women International, whose overarching mission is creating a culture of peace, with a heartfelt request that the City of Ocala, as have numerous other cities throughout the country, draft a resolution calling for a ceasefire in Israel and Gaza. Anti-Semitic, anti-Arab, anti-Muslim bigotry and violence that threaten our peaceful coexistence are escalating. The unspeakable horror of the October 7th Hamas terrorist attack on Israel is reprehensible and rightfully condemned. Yet, the incredible violence of retaliation affecting innocent Palestinians, especially children, resulting in tens of thousands of lives lost and unspeakable conditions in the occupied territory, cannot continue. This is not an issue of pro versus con against either Israel or Palestine, but rather a humanitarian issue that continued loss of life on both sides cannot solve. Only stopping the violence and the exercise of renewed diplomatic negotiations on the part of all stakeholders and influencers worldwide can attain that. May a local resolution lend that support to not only a ceasefire, but the release of hostages and political prisoners, an end to the blockade and siege of Gaza, and most importantly, humanitarian aid, comfort, and assistance to the civilian populations. And may we all continue to condemn anti-Semitism and Islamophobia wherever it occurs. For after all, as the French theologian Pierre Desjardins so eloquently stated, we are all spiritual beings striving to be human. May our humanity prevail. Thank you.
Thank you. John Elliott, please.
John Elliott in Ocala, and thank you, Mayor and City Manager and City Council people for the opportunity. I come before you to endorse what you have heard in the last two speakers, that you promulgate a resolution promoting peace and promoting a ceasefire. I speak to you as a former diplomat. I moved to Ocala a year and a half ago after serving as a career Foreign Service officer, and my diplomatic assignments took me to the Middle East. I also speak as somebody proud of my Jewish heritage. What Hamas did is inexcusable, but unfortunately, the people of Israel should not be surprised. For 75 years, the Palestinians have been oppressed and subjugated, put in apartheid conditions. There's no denying this. There's ample evidence. So, what they did was the Palestinian people, just a small number of them who belong to Hamas, did an unspeakable crime on that day. But what's going on reminds me of what happened to my family, my cousins who were killed in the Holocaust. Very similar. Instead of liquidating the ghettos of Warsaw and Europe, Israel and the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces, are liquidating the ghetto of Gaza. And this cannot continue. I speak to you with a heartfelt request that you consider a resolution and promulgate it as soon as possible, promoting peace and a ceasefire so that the lives of tens of thousands of innocents can be saved. Each day that we wait translates into hundreds of deaths of citizens, the suffering, the starvation, the disease. I ask that you consider, as soon as possible, drafting such a resolution. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Delphine Herbert, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Delphine Blockowitz Herbert. I have lived at Ocala since September of 2000. I come before you to request that the City of Ocala join with dozens of other municipalities throughout the nation who have issued resolutions calling variously for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, condemnation of the Hamas attack October 7th, release of all hostages, and resumption of delivery of vital food and medical supplies for the 2 million Palestinians who are starving and without shelter. On December 22nd, 2002, the Ocala Star banner published in its then vibrant Sunday editorial section a large graphic of Christ on the cross, along with my article asking why we were celebrating the birthday of the Prince of Peace while we were rushing off to war. The United States invaded Iraq 3 months later, and the subsequent death and displacement of millions has profoundly changed the character of the Middle East and Europe. We are again on the road to widespread war, precipitated by the initial Hamas attack, which resulted in the unspeakably vicious deaths of some 1,200 Israelis. The Israelis had every right to respond immediately and defend their citizens. But 4 months have passed, and Israelis have already killed more than 20 times the number massacred. Retribution apparently now demands obliterating the entire Gaza Strip, an area of some 25 miles long and 3 to 7 miles wide. That strip is 1/12 the size of Marion County and contains 5 times the number of our population. 2 million Gazans, roughly half under the age of 19, and many thousands wounded and without health care are on the brink of starvation and homelessness as the Israeli government, not the majority of its people, demands vengeance without compassion in denying access to basic humanitarian help as they search for hostages and Hamas leaders. Both the Israelis and the Palestinians have profound historical grievances of long standing. But the world first must deal with the here and now. The killing must stop. The listening must begin. This city council represents a community of diverse religions and other belief systems for whom the golden rule is almost universal. Please join with cities and citizens throughout our nation by issuing a call for an immediate ceasefire before the entire Middle East explodes into cataclysmic chaos. No one on earth will be immune from the fire next time until we acknowledge our common humanity. Thank you.
Thank you. Lisa Riley, please.
Thank you, City Council members, Mayor, and City Manager. My name is Lisa Riley, and I live at... I, too, am with this group in support of ceasefire in Gaza. I'm not going to go through a lot. I just want to remind everybody, we hear so much about the death of children and citizens, but let me remind everybody that each soldier on both sides is somebody's child, somebody's brother, somebody's husband, somebody's father. So I hope the city will support this and go forth and support a ceasefire in Gaza. Thank you.